Hi guys. So today I'm going to be talking about my third out-of-body experience. This time did not happen the same way that the others did. Apparently, you don't necessarily have to feel the sleep paralysis in order to come out. This time I just opened my eyes and I was out. So I'll explain. One night, I call myself trying to do the gateway process. And through this process, Robert Monroe, he speaks to you and kind of tries to put you in a meditative state. But after I listened to the gateway process and I've done everything that he asked us to do, I also started to listen to binaural beats. Now, what does that mean? Well, it simply means that you're going to be listening to a certain sound frequency while trying to relax yourself and put yourself into that very relaxed state while also remaining aware because you're trying to remain conscious at the same time. And at first, I just relaxed. I got into my bed. I listened to the gateway first, then I put the binaural beats on, and I'm just very relaxed. I did notice myself starting to get very sleepy. Not quite falling asleep, but right at the point of where I'm feeling these waves and like that sleepiness. I also started to feel waves around my body, like I'm moving back and forth, side to side, basically. So I knew then, of course, that I was starting to enter what typically turns into sleep paralysis, but I did not feel the paralysis, the onset of it. So I didn't know when, that I could just come out of my body. I was basically sitting up in the bed, and I typically sit up to some degree when I go to bed. But this time I was like sitting up past the point of my physical body. And when I open my eyes, I see a I can't even explain whether or not it certainly wasn't a physical being, but it was some sort of being that was directly in front of my television, which was off at the time. But it exuded a very vibrant purple color. Now, I did realize I was out of the body, but it was almost as if it was it was just hovering, waiting for something. I decided to just simply not move because naturally the fear process comes in, and sure enough, I became somewhat afraid, but I fought that so that I didn't just go right back into my body. Now, I'm looking at this purple thing, and it looked like a jellyfish without the tentacles. I know it sounds crazy, but I promised you, that's what it looked like the head of a jellyfish, except without the tentacles, and it was just floating, just there. It was not huge. It may have been, if I had to guess the measurement, half of a foot in length. Those of you that aren't American or don't use those English type measurements, I would say that it was about point whatever half of a foot is in meters. It's cutting out because I'm not looking it up right now. But it was just sitting there. And I'm opening my eyes like this, and it just sat there. And it illuminated pretty much the area that it was in. I took the opportunity to also look at my hands because previous times I did not see my second body as it was. Sure, I looked in the mirror in one of my astral projection pieces or experiences, but I wanted to see what my digits looked like, my hands. And so I just looked down and I held out my hands like this, and I did this several times. It was very, very, very dark. My hands were dark, but it was covered with, only thing I can describe is almost like a whitish, I can maybe say a cloth type substance. I don't know. But considering it was my second body, it looked like I had 5 fingers on both hands. It just looked normal, except just dark in color. And then this white, I guess, material that was over it. And so I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I looked like that. But then I noticed that purple things there. And I decided to just, okay, I don't want to get, ahead of myself, or harmed in some way. Now, remember too, this is the beginning stages of me coming out of my body. Just to make sure that I didn't get hurt or it didn't do anything, I guess, And so I remember reading in Journeys Out of the Body, if, you need to go back to your body for whatever reason, the only thing you need to do is try to move a finger, move a digit, and then that would basically draw you right back in. I tried, of course, to just, lay back and get back in, but that didn't quite work. And then again, I was thinking the quickest way to just to end the session was to just try to hurry and move one of my fingers. And sure enough, that's what I did. I just moved one of my fingers, and I noticed that I, in fact, was definitely in that sleep paralysis mode the whole time. I didn't feel the onset or the experience with it. That key to tell you, okay, this is now you can do your thing. As a matter of fact, I felt the vibrations all over my body. It was like, like really, and it felt very strong, very stable. That's the best way I can to describe it. Very, very stable. And in such a way to where I knew that I would be able to stay out of the body for quite a little while, at least the way it felt. So I got scared after seeing the purple thing. And the moment I moved my finger, or I thought to move it, and then I did, I quickly opened my physical eyes. But just as I was opening my physical eyes, I saw that purple thing come right close to my face. It was about like this, came right to my face, and then it basically vanished, because my physical eyes couldn't see it. I just thought it was very interesting that I saw that. Now, the same night I had another out-of-body experience. I wanted to try to do the same thing again and see if possibly it was just a figment of my imagination or whatever. So I again calmed myself down. I got back into the meditative state, so on and so forth. I come out. Well, I wake up out. I'm going to say wake up because, again, I had gotten to the point where I got sleepy again. And then I decided to just, wait a little bit and try to remain aware, come out of my body. And I opened my eyes again. And this time I didn't see the same thing. I didn't see anything at all. So whatever it was, it had come and gone. I just hope it wasn't. I just hope I didn't miss an opportunity of some sort, because sometimes, at least from what I've read, there are different beings that try to communicate, and a lot of them don't really mean any harm. Of course, there are those that may, but considering our second body is supposedly very resilient and practically indestructible, there isn't very much that could just hurt you like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's a lot that I don't know about this whole situation, but I know what I saw. I know what I felt. And it was gone that second time. So after it being gone, I was just kind of like, okay, so I look around my room. This particular time I had a bit of difficulty trying to just come out, like literally come out, while it almost felt as if the top half of myself came out, but the bottom half just stayed where it was. And I'm not sure why that was the case, but I do know I did start to think, left and right and moving forward. I was thinking my way to movement. And of course, I moved very slowly, as usual. But I eventually just went back into my physical body. And then that was the end of that. So I, from then on, I've been trying to continue to have out of body experiences. And of course, I'm going to continue to share my experiences with you as they come, and even some that, that I still haven't really talked about just yet. But that was my fourth, I believe. Yeah, that was my fourth out of body experience. And as always, I'm going to say fear has no place. Guys, can't really do much if you're scared. You just can't. And fear it seems as if it's an innate thing when it comes to the second body, when it comes to consciousness in general, it is. And we just have to be prepared to combat that as much as we can. Until next time, you guys have a great rest of your day or night.